Hello, welcome to this Chessodoro game review. It was 15 plus 10 game on chess.com between approximately 1500 rated players. Student plays black e4, so he writes to me, you write to me, drew a game which I should have won, was under time pressure but also not comfortable converting my advantage. So let's see it. c6, Caro-Kann, d4, d5, e5, yeah, popular advanced variation, and you play this c5 move. Very good. This is so-called Botvinnik-Arkell variation. Often becomes very similar to French defense structure. Yeah. So other main move is of course this bishop f5. Okay, you know this line. So c5, and now opponent plays c3, which is already a dubious move in my opinion. Its main moves, yeah, are dc and knight f3, I would say. Yeah, but c3, white kind of mixes up that they're playing. They think they're playing against French now, yeah, but and they are kind of mixing it up. But the big difference is your bishop is not closed, yeah. So this is inaccuracy, yeah, with white, because you can easily put the bishop outside the pawn chain in this line. So you pressure the center, knight f3, and now very good move. CD, yeah, you follow the theory. This is the best move. Otherwise, if we play here, white just might take on c5, yeah. So first we exchange, and then we pressure d4 by developing this bishop, yeah, solving the bishop c8 problem, like in French. And so basically that's why this c3, I think, move was inaccuracy, because it allows black easy development, easy play, yeah, and put the pressure on d4. Bishop e2, e6, knight c3, and now you play bishop b4. So a bit dubious why I think that way. Basically, I don't think we intend to exchange our good bishop. Yeah, this is our good bishop. We would like to exchange this one, yeah, at some moment, because the pawns are on light squares. But this one bishop we should keep. Yeah, so and basically you have better moves here. You could start with maybe queen b6, put more pressure. Yeah, now you're intending even to win the pawn, and knight usually goes to f5 square like this. If they take the knight, you get very good dynamic play with g file and putting pressure on d4, having two bishops. So if they don't take, our knight arrives on f5. We put additional pressure here. And you see, we don't need to exchange this bishop. It develops here. We may be castling next. Maybe f6 is an idea. And with typical French play, without bad bishop on c8, yeah. So bishop b4 you played. And white made a mistake now. He played bishop d2, but this is just a mistake. And by this move, he no longer defends d4 with the queen, yeah. You see, he kind of blocked the queen. And I should also mention that white player, yeah, your opponent played according to time like a bullet this game. Already here it was a 15-minute game, yeah, and he had almost 16 minutes, so he's making like move every every second. So that is a very bad way to play rapid, yeah. If you want to play blitz, but in rapid you need to think a bit, yeah, on every move. So bad example how not to play, yeah. Opponent blitzes out the moves, but surely this is not a theory, yeah. He just blitzes out the moves, but actually clear mistake here. He should have went a3 and took away, exchanged our bishop, yeah. Now white will be standing better because no longer d4 is a problem, yeah, and he has this nice pawn chain. And yeah, so bishop d2 was a mistake, but you kind of missed the idea. You could capture immediately on f3, and he cannot take with the bishop really, yeah, because then you have this move, winning the pawn straight away, yeah. There is no check, yeah, he can come back, but then he has to take with the pawn, yeah. Now this move again would get messy this time because bishop is already arriving here and probably he's winning the pawn back, yeah. So after taking and gf, you can just simply develop, yeah, put the knight here. Now you're kind of threatening d4, so kind of missed this moment first time. He played knight g7, but he blundered, not blundered, but made a same mistake twice. So he really needed now to spot that d4 is kind of hanging, and he needed to go something like exchange maybe these bishops and protect d4 at least. So, but he missed it, and now you didn't give away second chance. Second time you didn't miss this, yeah? So bishop f3, and you took a very good central pawn, yeah? So you have already clear advantage. Yeah, central pawns are much more valuable. So he went knight b5, which is another dubious move because he's kind of missing tactics. Yeah, an opponent playing really fast, like bullet moves, yeah? So he's missing stuff left and right. So against such instant move players, yeah, we don't get basically provoked by them. Yeah, think in your own pace, basically. Of course, don't maybe get too low on time. Yeah, you still need to move at a reasonable tempo yeah, during the game, but don't try to imitate them and play back as fast as they. Yeah, so just general practical advice. Here you went bishop d2, which was kind of okay, but it allowed him to do this intermediate move, knight d6 check. So instead, maybe you could have found this a6 move. It's harder to spot. Yeah, it's kind of counterattack. Yeah, he takes our bishop, we take his knight, and then we just castle. Yeah, with better position. Maybe we'll unpin and move the knight here, for example. Yeah, so we are still pawn up. His pawns are messed up, so we're doing great here with black. Okay, but bishop d2 was not like such a mistake. Yeah, queen d2, he just displaced our king, which we'll need to solve this problem, yeah, in future. A good idea actually to get rid of the knight. He took the pawn, but now he made another mistake. Yeah, and he's still, I should mention, he's still playing. Yeah, he has more than 15 minutes until here. Yeah, already 16 moves played, and he's moving without any thinking. So knight d6 was a mistake. Knight e5 is just simpler, getting the knight out and winning the pawn back. Yeah, but still black should be slightly better here, because you're gonna go, yeah, g5 he couldn't take because of this g file, but now you're preparing to solve the issue with the king and start exchanging rooks. Yeah, play against these weaknesses and so on. So, but knight d6, basically you're now a pawn up. The only issue is king safety. Yeah, where in a heavy piece endgames, yeah, they have these middle game features. Yeah, since queens are on the board, king safety is a super important factor, and piece activity, yeah, in these endgames. So two most important things in heavy piece endgames. So you have to take care of your king now. And you played rook c8, but I don't think we're ready to challenge this line. Yeah, we still need to connect the rooks to solve this issue first. So very good idea was to kind of do what beginners do. Yeah, they push the side pawn and bring the rook like this. But actually this is a good idea to kind of bring the rook into the game and put the king here, like castling by hand, for example. Here he kind of tries to double, but we already solved the back rank issue by this h5, and the rook is coming into the game as well. So nice way to develop the rook. He went here, but he made some weird king h1, which doesn't make sense. Yeah, he should have just contested the line. Yeah, and how are you gonna challenge him? You cannot go here. Yeah, queen g5. So we would probably have to go back. Yeah, and give away, kind of waste time. So this rook c8 was dubious. King h1, h6, rook g1, but you're slowly g6 maybe move, yeah, to do this. Okay, centralize the queen, cannot be bad. King g8, queen is going after some pawns, you defend, and finally you solve the king issue. Yeah, but you kind of wasted 1 minute on this move. Yeah, so I don't know why you didn't play like in just a couple seconds this move. Yeah, what's the threat? Maybe you were scared of this mate threat, but we can easily defend it in many ways. Yeah, even g6, even rook g8. Yeah, you can defend this mate. So you shouldn't take like 1 minute for such natural moves, yeah? We were intending to play this, so why you're thinking so long for this move, yeah? King h7, queen, and you kind of got low on time because I think you wasted too much time on just natural moves, yeah? There were a couple critical moments, but you should think during them, yeah? Not on some simple moves too much. So rook hg8, yeah, defending against mate, and you start speculating the exchanges, yeah, of the queens. That would be very useful for you. Another option to just put the queen in the center. Yeah, you follow the queen, and activity and king safety, as I said, are key features in this type of heavy piece endgames. b4 d4, forcing some kind of an exchange, yeah? So he now played queen e4, kind of was forced to exchange. Maybe it was better a bit to try this move, but nice, very nice move for black, this. And yeah, you see how tactically we are always looking for some exchanges. So but at least white is keeping the queens on, yeah? He immediately went to exchange the queens. That's just winning for you, yeah? You won a second pawn now. And but time trouble. You have 1 minute, an opponent has 10 minutes, yeah? So time trouble, you really have to play fast now. But it's an endgame, so you shouldn't worry too much, yeah? And also an increment game, so you're hard to lose on time, yeah? So rook af1, even more exchanges, which is useful to you, yeah? The more you trade down, 2 pawns up. f6, you could just march the king in, yeah? Immediately, if the rook somehow checks, your king is going forward, yeah? So f6 is okay, but you can just improve the king as well. So rook endgames, what are the key features? Rook activity, king activity, and pawn quality, yeah? In the rook endgames, in that order usually. So you're striving to bring the king towards the center to support the pawns. You're striving to improve the rook activity like this, yeah, and pawns are rolling. And here I think a very important moment, you play some g4, you in general advance, it's okay, but always look how you can improve the rook, yeah? Rook is standing already great on the file, but what is his dream? His dream is to get even more active, like this, yeah? You want to invade second rank. That's where the rook is dreaming often to go, yeah? He's invading, and see how active this rook is now. You can put him behind enemy pawns, yeah? Attack. He's also cutting the king off, yeah? He's kind of supporting these pawns in a way, yeah. Instead you went after a5 rook b8, passive move, yeah? Not good. You have to go behind the pawns, yeah? This is the general rule of the rook. You kind of always have to keep the rook behind the pawns, even if they're opponent's pawns or your own pawns, yeah? Your own pawns you support from behind. Opponent's pawns like this, you attack from behind, yeah? And rook is doing some important jobs additionally, yeah? Multifunctional rook, very active. Okay, so game happened like this, but this should still be winning, yeah, of course. But just general principle, yeah, to activate the rook. And you see, if you have put the rook here, his king wouldn't have come out even. So g4, okay, maybe just this, yeah, and get connected passers. g4, okay, some exchanges happen. He's trying to advance his own pawn. Now he made a kind of dubious move. Since your rook is kind of passive here, you should just challenge this pawn and not lose this one, yeah? Just go here. Then you'll think what to do. Maybe h5, f5, yeah? So rook g8, kind of, you lost this pawn for no reason. Went back still. Yeah, but it's now harder, yeah? You could have kept the pawn, yeah? So pawns are the stars in endgame, yeah? You have to keep them, not sacrifice them. So and we kind of got to this endgame, still totally winning, but not so easy maybe to convert without knowing what to do. And here you made a mistake actually immediately, so pushing too soon. What happened? Again, key moment, rook activation, yeah? You have to activate the rook, yeah? this rook is staying passive, not doing anything. Yeah, rooks hate defensive jobs. They are attacking piece. Yeah, they are 5 points defending 1 point. Yeah, what is this happening? Economy is not good. Yeah, 5 points defending 1 point. You have to support your own pawns with an active rook. Yeah, so this, you see how you go in with the rook, and you can then come back because the king is cut off, and now his pawn is also not going anywhere. You're not keeping the rook passive here, you're doing the job, yeah, by keeping an eye on the pawn like this and also cutting the king off, and now it's easily winning. So but he went d3 instead. He had a chance here to make a draw actually by this maneuver, and now your king is kind of cut off. If you push the pawn, his king is very fast coming to block the pawns. Yeah, so you d3, you push too fast, too soon. You should yeah, activated the rook, but he also made a mistake by moving the king back. And now you had a kind of winning idea like this, and push e4 and then activate the rook again, but you went here. Now he's in time to block your pawns, and he starts giving some checks from behind. And he made another mistake here. He should have made a draw like this. Now it's too late to activate the rook because he's giving a checks from this side, and we cannot. It's too distance is not too short. Yeah, we have to keep an eye on this pawn. We cannot approach the rook. So, but he gave you another chance to win, and still here you had another chance to win. Rook f8. Activate the rook and you're winning again. Similar way. Yeah, this time we can even push the pawns. Yeah, we're winning. So you missed that. You still went yeah, instead of rook f8 went king d4, but he kept on checking, and now he's kind of repeating moves. You both repeated moves, and it's a draw. Yeah, sad that it's a draw. You had many opportunities to win this game. So let's conclude. Yeah, what are the main takeaways? So opening was opening white played not so good. This c3, yeah, c3 is a typical inaccuracy. Yeah, so you know how to use it in upcoming games. Yeah, you it would be great, yeah, if many players would do this. So second thing, bishop b4 was kind of dubious move. You don't want to exchange this good bishop, yeah, for this knight and strengthen his pawn center. So okay, this a6 move was a nice intermezzo. Here it is. Yeah, instead of bishop d2, always, yeah, harder to find these in between moves. Yeah, but your piece is attacked, you counter attack. Yeah, in between move. Okay, a6. And basically you solved the king issue and started converting the pawn up, yeah, in the heavy piece endgame. Managed to even exchange queens and got totally winning rook endgame, 2 pawns up, yeah. But low on time, so maybe about time management. Yeah, you need to think in a rapid game. You usually have like 3-4 big moments, yeah, to think, to kind of think for 1-2 minutes, yeah, more maybe if super sharp position. But usually for simple moves we have to not waste time, yeah, like for the simple king h7 move. I don't know what happened, why you wasted just 1 minute, being like down already, so much down on time, yeah. So and the final thing about activation of the rook, yeah, so in rook endgames activity is key, yeah, activity is key, especially rook activity in first, then king activity. So you needed to activate the rook, key takeaway, yeah, instead of going with the rook on b8 like it happened here. You go in on the second rank from behind, yeah, cutting the king off, doing many things with the active rook instead of going passive. And okay, that's okay, endgame conversion didn't went to plan, yeah, because basically of this rook activity thing, yeah. If you managed to activate, I'm sure you would have won. Okay, so thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.